Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday's Lunchtime Talking Town. I am your host, the Gov, really looking forward to pulling apart, dissecting, debating, discussing, and laughing about yesterday's 3-2 win. 2-0 down, seemingly out of the game, and then a bit of magic from Broadhead brings us back, and we go on to secure all 3 points. I'm still not quite sure what I saw, if I'm brutally honest. So looking forward to hearing all of your wonderful comments. Obviously, there'll be a live link being dropped. We are live again this evening, Sunday, the 3rd of September, at 8 p.m, slightly earlier, for the last word. So if you don't get on today's show, or if you have something else you wish to add, you can do so on the last word at 8 p.m. But what a performance yesterday. I put the 3-word reviews out, which I'll try and filter through the course of tonight's show and today's show. Phenomenal response from that. So thank you so much. If you've not seen those 3-word review questions on social media, go and follow us on all your social media platforms, be it Twitter or X, as it's now called, Instagram, Facebook. I put them out after every single game. Just a phenomenal response and some really great 3 words. You can put your 3 words in the comments right now, or put whatever opinion you have about your football team. Only you know your opinion, and only you can word it in the way that you want to say it. So make sure you get involved. He says, afternoon, everyone. What a great game and atmosphere it was yesterday. 12 points out of a possible 15. Wow. Stephen Parry, great comeback, and the backup players are looking better. Long may it continue, he finishes. Billy Dalton's here. Welcome in, Billy, as is Mr. Plum. We've got Mike Baker. Welcome in, Mike. Hope you're well. James Sargent, hello James, hope you're well too. Lots and lots of people filing through the Talking Town doors. We love to see it. Zorak says, I love Clark, but he isn't. I'll start that again, shall I? I love Clark, but he isn't just a yard off. He's a mile. That second goal, he just didn't move. Yeah, we'll debate that. We'll discuss it. Get your comments in, as I've said. Don't forget the FCAs are open. That's the Football Content Awards. For those that don't know what the FCAs stand for, we are hoping to be nominated for Best Club Content Creator, but we can only be nominated if you wonderful people at home choose to vote for us. If you do wish to vote for us, you can vote 3 ways. You can vote on their website, which link is in the chat and the description. You can vote on Twitter, and you can vote on Instagram, and you can vote 3 times. So you can do all 3, and I put the tweet in the chat for you. If you're like me, very busy and quite frankly can't be bothered to write it all out, just copy and paste it over and you are good to go. Zurek says, also for those at Portman Road, a friend of mine lives a little way away and he could hear you chanting from his garden. Well played. Yes, absolutely. The atmosphere was phenomenal. I've got some 3-word reviews on that. As always, hit the like button. We'll go for 150 likes as a target. There's no Rich this week to set it, so we'll set it at 150. If you're brand new here, subscribe. If you're returning and not yet subscribed, well, why not? You're clearly coming back, so hit the subscribe button. We are after 6,500 subscribers before Norwich, which is obviously in December. I think we can smash that. I really do. And a very quick point of reference, we are looking for businesses to get involved with the platform sponsorship. In the last 28 days, we have had 51,249 views. So if you think your business can benefit from that, and to be honest, whose business at the moment can't benefit from exposure, email me, martin@talkingtown.co.uk, and we can have a little chat. Right, 3 words. We've got Dave Morrow on Facebook, grit, determination, success. Richard Chandler on Facebook, winning against adversity. I've got a feeling that may come up a little bit throughout the course of the show. And last but not least, we will get some more through the course of the show. But before I bring in Matthew Phillips, and it ties in with his TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube short match reaction, where Daryl Hughes on Facebook says, heart attack imminent. And Mr. Phillips did say he may need to sit near the St. John's ambulance. The media mogul.
We've just lost the teenagers. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Matt Phillips. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
How's the ticker?
That was going to be my 3-word takeaway. St. John's ambulance. What
Absolutely.
a roller coaster. What a roller coaster at Portman Road. My God. Did anyone
Yeah.
really think at 2-0 would come back and win 3-2? I certainly didn't. I thought best case scenario was, we get a goal back and maybe snatch a draw, but
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, 2-0 down, I thought it was done and dusted, if I'm honest. This is the God's honest truth. I sat on my phone trying to battle against the internet, going through my Gmail driver to find the graphics for post-game, so 3-word review, etc. And I was thinking to myself, as I went through the whole graphics I've created with every single player, which player do I stick on the 3-word review? Because frankly, at this point, not many of them, if any of them, had performed well enough to be on a graphic. It was like, I don't know which one to choose.
Yeah. The guy who sits next to me, he's a new season here older, called Mick. He said to me, Matt, if we get one back, I feel like we could win it. And I was like, what planet is this guy?
You're new here, aren't you? You're new here, aren't you? We can tell now.
Yeah. He was absolutely right. Do you know what I mean? So, it's a funny game, wasn't it? Because I turned around to him and said, look, there don't seem to be many goals in this one. I thought Cardiff defended really well. I would actually say that in the first half, I'd actually say the first half defensive display from them, because they defended very deep, didn't they? And in that midfield, Kate, look, I don't really like talking tactics, but I thought this was quite noticeable in that they sat deep and the midfield made it really difficult for us to get that fast passing game we had against Stoke. And we went back to, we said last season, if you've been following the show when we was at the top of League One, then we were saying, the way to stop Ipswich is to just sit deep, and suddenly we get into the old stat padding again, don't we? And that was really noticeable yesterday, wasn't it?
It was really noticeable. It really was. And I thought tactically Cardiff were really on what Town wanted to do, and they were just making it impossible to do what you wanted to do tactically, which I thought was a really interesting twist, really interesting game. And but they did help us out by taking Tanner off, because Tanner was causing all sorts of problems for me down the right side in that first half, right in front of me.
Their manager, Errol, who's used to play for Eintracht Frankfurt, my German team, he was fuming with his display on Italian. He said he wasn't good enough and took him off, which I thought, it seems like Errol might be a bit of a hard-nosed manager, I think. I mean, he certainly looked a bit of a tough nut on the sidelines. But for whatever reason, as disciplined as they were in that first half, he said the reason they lost the game, talking to Wales online media that cover Cardiff, they weren't very disciplined in the second half. And, I feel like the goal that Broadhead got kind of like ignited the stadium again. It was almost like we were sunking the ball in for the Ladapo goals, wasn't it? It kind of changed, the whole atmosphere changed, didn't it? Because suddenly you've got something to hold it to get into, then, haven't you, at 2-1?
But they can't hold a lead, Cardiff. Like the opening day of the year, 2 up against Leeds, capitulated. Yesterday, 2-0 up. I mean, and as somebody said on Twitter with a 3-word review, 2-0 dangerous scoreline, which I thought was a fantastic throwback. Like, it's a great throwback to a certain manager of ours who obviously famously said 2-0 is a very dangerous scoreline. But it wasn't for so long. We got the tale of tractors on Twitter, naivety, captaincy, and class, and then Anthony Miles on Twitter. What a comeback! And I think that the naivety. I'm not sure about the naivety, but certainly the first 60 minutes, 65. It wasn't a Town performance. I didn't feel. I felt like we were a bit sluggish, a bit slow, not able to get out of the traps, able to do what we really wanted to do. We lost George Hurst through injury, which obviously you never want to see that, and you are kind of hoping or happy that it's an international break where you can really rest up. And,
that's come along at a good time, considering the injury Morsey got right at the end as well.
Yeah. Well, look, let's talk about that, because obviously he says captaincy in his 3-word review there. This is my leader. This is the guy I want to follow into battle everywhere, because that ball is a 50-50. It's a dire minutes. You're winning the game. And he had nothing but his mind, but I'm going to win that ball. Yeah. My leader, ladies and gentlemen, my leader.
I think I actually jumped up and applauded that.
Absolutely.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, that like epitomizes what he's all about. And, when we signed him, we said, this is a guy that could really lead for us and be a new Matt Holland style, albeit a different character. Like you say, a proper guy from that you want in the trenches with you. I mean, that was some tackle that. And now he's injured himself guttingly. I mean, Sam Morsey's injured when he's hobbling and then having to take a knee. Like Daniel Dubois in the boxing was discussing on Friday night. He's absolutely the knee. I was like, oh my God, this means he's probably got a broken leg or something if Morsey has to take a knee. And of course, he was called up for the Egyptian squad as well, which probably means he's going to miss that. So that's a gutter for him personally. because he's obviously waited. You know, he's had caps before, but you know, there's competition in those places for players that are playing at a higher level, and he's managed to get himself back in there, and rightly so, I think, with the guts and determination he's got. And of course, it's nice to see Ipswich on that platform. You know, I'd seen them playing out of Africa, and again, it extends our audience supporter base, doesn't it? So hopefully they can patch him up over the next, what was it, couple of weeks now that we've got without a game? Is it the 16th, the next one?
Yeah, it's a week. Yes, 2 weeks yesterday,
Wednesday.
really, isn't it? Yeah, Wednesday.
Sheffield.
Someone's already called them crumble on Twitter. But so I'm not going there because Wednesday haven't won a game yet and none come town. I've seen the story before. And there's a family link there, Matt, as you know. So
Of course, yes.
I'm doubly cautious. Doubly.
And we dropped, like Cardiff, we've dropped a 2-0 lead there.
Yes, we know all about that ourselves. How did you see Morse's performance as a whole? Obviously, that moment we've spoken about, but on the post game show, on the match reaction show, it's has 3,000 views, by the way. Thanks for supporting the show.
Wow.
I know, amazing. It's Rich's mug on it, isn't it? It draws.
It's because I wasn't on it. I was hot footing it up to the station.
That's true. But some people said it wasn't his best performance. Some said it was a really good performance from our skipper. How did you see his overall 89, 93, whatever it was when he was off minutes?
Yeah, I thought he did very well. There were moments where he gave the ball away. You don't often see that with Morsey. We've often said one of his great strengths is he can pass to a blue shirt, which is about 10 yards away. And as we said last week on the show, you do see some stray passes, but you know, it's something you have to get used to. But Morsey, I would say, you know, I don't know what his pass completion rate is. Sounds like NFL, this, doesn't it? But I'd imagine it's in the 90th percentile. I would have thought. It was interesting to me. I don't know if anyone noticed this, or I just hadn't noticed this. Martin, come on. No 2 Ronnies with the camera this week. Come on. You just disappeared off screen if you're listening to this, people.
It's because I'm trying to find out Sam Morsey's stats. Do you want it for yesterday or do you want it for the season so far?
For the season so far, actually. Yeah.
All right. Pass accuracy so far is 82%.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's not as good as I thought. And him in the 90s. I mean, still, look, that's fantastic, isn't it? But I noticed yesterday, now whether or not I've missed this in other games, him and Luongo seem to be swapping positions at one point. So one was playing right, and Luongo left, and vice versa. Yeah. I just wondered whether or not I thought he was quite good, that guy in midfield. That Joe Rolls, I think, who got the second goal. I think he's a good player. Yeah. And he had that Siopolis, I think his name was, next to him, who seems to be doing a good job on Connor Chaplin. Kept him quiet. We'll come back to that in a second. And then, was just ahead of them was Aaron Ramsey, wasn't it?
Phenomenal. If they keep him fit, it'll be probably.
Who obviously got the first goal.
Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. And that was the difference, though, in that first half, or first 50 minutes. That their midfield was probably better than our midfield. It really was working.
But I just thought they looked a really good team. I remember sitting there thinking, bloody hell, I said these were going to get relegated on pre-season show. Anything but in that first half. But the fact they capitulated in the second half, and quite quickly as well, really. I mean, you know, it was only in about a 20-odd minute spell, wasn't it? You know, 20, 25 minutes maybe from the first goal to the third. Yeah. Because we had to obviously hang on a little bit when it was 3-2, didn't we? But I thought it was a very disciplined performance for Cardiff. I was really impressed with it. And, you know, the worry for me is that other clubs will see that and that becomes the blueprint as a way of stopping us playing at Portman Road for certain. But
it was always going to be. It was like in this league particularly, you always feel tactically this is where the cat and mouse situation is. You know, the higher up the pyramid you go, where because I don't want to disrespect any League One teams, but it's almost like in League One, my best versus your best. And normally, last year particularly, our best was better than 99% of the other best. Whereas this league, it's more than just my best versus your best. It's my best versus your best, and then I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to stop you from doing what you want to do. Can you tweak it? And that managerial, tactical back and forth. And the higher you go, the more that becomes where all teams have good players. You know, Cardiff yesterday, Aaron Ramsey, great player. They've took relegation, but they've got one of the greatest probably players currently in the championship if he can stay fit. Everyone's got good players. So it's that tactical battle. And yesterday we had to do what we had to do.
But this is what we wanted, wasn't it? This is why we're so desperate to get out of League One. This is what I was going, get McKenna gone if you can't get us out of here. Because you want the challenges. This is what you want. Look at the excitement of the game you saw, you know, the Stoke game, the Leeds game. Okay, we didn't win that Leeds game, but, you know, 7-goal thriller. And then yesterday we come back from 2 goals down. It's the challenge, the excitement. It's what you go. I mean, Rich said to me, like, we were chatting on the the phone last night, and he was like saying, at the moment, it's like, well, it don't matter what the scoreline is, we just need to score one more than you. And I used to think back to the dark times of Paul Lambert when I was like dropping off, thinking, I wish we had Joe Royle back in charge, the 6-4 with crew and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I don't feel like McKenna is the kind of character to want to actually be in 4-3 games or 3-2 games or come back from 2 down. I think he's such a methodical character that I feel like probably he wants the comfort of a 2-0 win or, you know, a 2-1 rather than it being, like Rich said last night to me, like a basketball game going from back to forth in the NBA.
I said that on the show as well, yeah.
Yeah, he said on the show, was it? Yeah. I don't think McKenna really likes that. But here we are, and it's really exciting, and people are looking forward. Again, we were sold out practically, weren't we? Cardiff bought just under 1,000. So it was, what was it, 20, just shy of 29 maybe yesterday?
Yeah, 28,000 and some change.
People are absolutely buzzing, and you know, it feels like good times are back. And here we are, second in the table. Bloody hell, to Preston. Did we say they were going down as well?
We probably did. It's early days. As Richard would say, don't look at the table yet. But Blaze Dog sort of says my words out loud. Yesterday reminded me of the Joe Royle days. We used to have, used to always mount comebacks. It very much is that Kevin Keegan, Joe Royle feel at the moment, where it's you might score 3, but we'll score 4. You score 5, we'll score 6. But you're gonna come unstuck through the course of the year. But as a fan, it's going to be bloody exciting stuff to watch, isn't it?
I feel like probably McKenna and the team he's put together is probably a little bit more tactically aware. And of course, we're talking 20 years on now. From Joe Royle. Can you believe that?
Yeah, Mark Murphy yesterday when he said the mystery year is 0102, 10 years ago, and then he corrected himself. And we all sat there with 10 years? No, 20 years.
Yeah.
It's like a long time ago now.
I can remember some of those goals like they were like last season or something. It's daft, didn't it? But I think probably the just how McKenna approaches it now. Obviously, tech has moved on. There's innovation in terms of game analytics. So I think he's probably a little bit more tactically aware than what Joe and Kevin Keegan were. But at the same point, they were great man motivators, Joe Royle and Keegan, and the fact they got the best out of their players. And like you say, it did turn out to be, 4 3s, 5 4s, 6-4 against Crew. I'll never forget that Crew game. 6-4.
No, but you say that, and we'll come to Harry Clark because obviously there's a lot of conversation on social media regarding his performance. But I'm going to sort of stick up for Harry for a minute, because you say about tactically, are we tactically not helping our fullbacks out in the sense of we are a high press team? Your 2 wingers in Broadhead and Burns, they're not asked to do too much defending. I think if you watch the game over 90, you could probably pick that out yourself. That's not me breaking ground with that comment.
Yeah.
And that leaves your 2 fullbacks exposed. Now, at the league below, maybe you're okay doing that. But at this level, yesterday particularly, Harry Clark looked well exposed. And I've got no blame for how he performed, other than, do we need to maybe at times protect our fullbacks a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is again a question mark over him. Look, we all like his attacking play, and whether or not the fist pump things come too soon for him, that earning his dues in the first.
If I speak, I'm in trouble.
If I speak, I'm in trouble, said Jose. Yeah, I know Rich kind of thinks that as well. But,
do you now? Oh, do we now? Oh, we've all come around to what I said about 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago.
Look, but in terms of it generating the atmosphere and good feel, fantastic. But of course, you might recall his second game at Cambridge at the Abbey Stadium got hauled at half time, didn't he? He was getting kind of exposed a little bit by Ironside, was it? Yeah, Joe Ironside.
The thorn in Tam's backside for so long.
Yeah, but again, he is a youngish player. I mean, look, I've felt there's something weird with him since that red card at Fleetwood. Not that would particularly do anything to his performances or anything, but I changed my opinion of him slightly there, in that I felt, can he be trusted on these big occasions in the Championship when you've suddenly got a couple of yellows in 10 minutes at Fleetwood in a nothing game? But look, we all like him. He likes to get forward. He's obviously got good rapport with his teammates. But for whatever reason yesterday, and I don't think Wes Burns helped him particularly. Now, whether Wes was blowing a bit, like you say, you've attacked. You're now getting countered, because they didn't take much for him to get the ball into that position, did they? It was that weird kind of rolling pass from the right back position into the middle of the field, then out to Grant on the left, where you could have parked probably Ipswich bus station.
You could have parked the whole fleet of trains that aren't running at the moment, mate. You really could have done. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And of course, the cross comes in, and Ramsey of all people is there, and it's
good finish,
better to him, innit? But just look at, as I said in that TikTok thing, just look at Wolfenden's reactions to Clark and the rest of the defence. He was like, "Effing hell, what's happened here?"
Yeah, Matt mentions the TikTok thing there. We are doing fan and contributor reactions on social media and YouTube Shorts, as well as the shows. And we also want you to get involved. So if you do want to put a reaction together, it's 60 seconds or less. Just send it to Martin at talkingtown.co.uk and I'll whack it up onto the socials. That's TikTok, Instagram Reel, Facebook Reel, and the YouTube Shorts. We want as many as we can. So if you're sat at home, if you're on the train, on the bus, wherever Matt was, looked like the garden, just do it. Just do it, whatever you want to say, and I'll whack it up online for people to watch and dissect. Paul P, don't have a problem on the left. It's the right-hand side where there is an issue. I think Clark needs to get the injury he's carrying sorted. I was talking to Neil on the way home yesterday because he drove. Nice to have a chauffeur. It was great. Yeah, it's beautiful. He needs to come more often. And we won. And I just wonder if after the international break, whether we'll see a transition into Williams at right back, because he'll have been here longer, feet under the table, tactically more aware, perhaps up to speed fitness-wise. But when I talk to, albeit my osteopath, about an Achilles injury, Harry Clark, you know, the medical professionals, they know all the ins and outs. And one of the things he tells me is that explosiveness is one of the things you can lose with an Achilles. Now, we know he's managing the Achilles injury. I'm not a doctor. My osteo's never seen him. So, you know, it's not like it's 100% guaranteed information. But he just lacks, I don't know, it's something about Clark's performance that it's not Harry of old. It's something, and I'm just putting it down, maybe the lack of explosiveness. What do you think?
That would make sense. Yeah, that would absolutely make sense. Maybe going up to the I mean, look, he done games at Stoke, didn't he? But maybe, you know, going up with Town on the back of a promotion, a little bit of pressure there, maybe. But I would say probably that injury is like your guy's saying. I think that's probably the major cause. But then you have to look at Williams, don't you? And it was nice to see him get the ball straight away yesterday. As soon as he came on, they stuck a pass straight over to him, didn't they? So he had the feel of the ball rather than chasing bloody Sinistera last week to try and get. Who's now since gone to Bournemouth again. Wrong time to play Leeds, weren't it? As we said, you know, and he got shaken off like it was bloody me getting, you know, running into a brick wall or something. But you have to think that look, no one leaves Manchester United on loan when you've got offers. Okay, there's the pull of McKenna to come and sit on Ipswich Town's bench. You know, he could have gone anywhere else. He probably wanted to. It wouldn't only been just us in there. You have to think he's going to be playing matches at some point. And, you know, it seems like, look, you know, no one's replacing Leif Davis. I thought he was excellent yesterday. He said the right back position is up for grabs between him and Clark at the moment. Yeah,
Blaisdell said Clark positioning was poor. Can't fault the effort. Harp says Clark was playing too narrow for me. Gave their winger too much space. Arthur, Kiddy's giving me a nagging injury.
The last
Robin
thing he needed in front of me was that tackle he got from that the centre forward, Mighty, right on his ankle. That should have been a yellow. He was well late on that. It was right in front of me, that, but he started giving out yellows like sweets after that, didn't he, the ref?
Well, yeah, I thought he could have put the number of Cardiff players before he did, to be fair.
That was the last thing Harry needed. Like you say, you know, you're struggling with an injury. Look, as someone just said in the comments there, you know, when you see him running back into positions, I mean, like the explosiveness is on his face. Just that the ankle isn't playing ball with him, is it? But the effort's there, 100%. The effort's there.
Absolutely. Robin says Burns had an Achilles problem the second season here. Lost half a yard, in my opinion, compared to the speed he possessed at Fleetwood. Hope Clark can recover. I love Harry Clark. I'm always against not playing him, but yesterday I felt he was exposed more than anything else. I felt we didn't.
Yes. What does the North stand like? He's one of our own, and you know him and Wolfenden is quite a nice little pairing there on that right side, as lads that have come into an academy, and of course Clark left, to go to Arsenal and come back again. So yeah, he's got points in the bank, money in the bank for the fact that local lad.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about Halaki, Broadhead, Ladapo. We're going to drop a link soon. So if you've got something to say about those players or anybody else, please do get involved. We are live also again tonight, 8 p.m. So if you don't get on today's show, then please come on tonight. But the atmosphere you mentioned there, let's talk about that for a second. Finbob on Twitter, Portman Road rocking. I had special praise for Blue Action and Nathan the drummer on the post-game show yesterday. I thought the atmosphere, particularly when we got ourselves back in the game, was absolutely phenomenal, Matt. I don't know how it was from your side of the stadium, but obviously being in the Cobbold now next to the heartbeat of the football club, rocking, just phenomenal, something special when that place rocks.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was thinking the same thing. I actually had flashbacks to when Vilnius scored against Man United and Ferguson said anyone would have thought 40,000 was in here rather than, what was it back then, 20, whatever it was.
Yeah. 14, whatever it was back then.
Yeah, I got that as well. It really was really exciting. And as I said at the top of the show, it felt like, you know, once the atmosphere changes, you've got over the disappointment that we might lose 2 or 3-0 and you're back in it at 2-1. You see a glimmer of light. The atmosphere changes, and you know, I certainly feel like we became that. It's a cliche in football, cliche central, but we became the 12th man.
We did.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, we did. And we started kicking every ball and calling for everything. And even if it hit the bloke's chest, it was handball. It was beautiful. It was one of those special things in football where, you know, you're so desperate for that moment that you start calling for the most sometimes silliest of things. And you're like,
it's a shame we can't start like that, I suppose. But then, you know, that support, I think, and that atmosphere is generated by the context of the game, isn't it? You know, you might have had a really crap refereeing decision or something, and that gets the crowd up. I mean, Baldhead himself said the only reason he had that shot with that kind of venom because he was pissed over that free kick that went into the wall.
Yeah.
Seconds later, and you could see it on his face. That again was right in front of me. I could see his face, and he sort of like rubbed his eyes, and you could see the frustration. And then he took it out on the ball. I mean, what a shot! I mean, look, he had 4 Cardiff players around him when he scored that. But that was interesting to me. That as soon as he got that ball, he had that many Cardiff defenders around him. Because I feel one of the problems we had in the first half, where Cardiff was so disciplined, was they stopped our impact players actually having any say in the game. Again, which Leeds did quite well with Chaplin last week, albeit he scores right at the end. But he had a bit of a half chance on the edge of the 6-yard box, didn't he, in the first half, which ordinarily you thought he would have scored. But for the rest of the half, they kept him quiet. And again, Broadhead had a quiet first half for me. And it was Leaf that was coming more into the game. But, you know, that's something just to look at in the future, because I feel like they're now getting identified as the impact players that are going to all roads lead through for Ipswich.
And really interesting to see their touches through the course of the season per game, and just sort of, you know, how their performance is and how many touches they get. I mean, obviously the Sunderland performance stands out, because obviously it was Sky, and Sky brought the stats up, didn't they? In that first half an hour or whatever it was, that our attacking players had about 4 or 5
no touches, had they?
Whatever touches it was such a minimal number, and it showed. Like 4. It was ridiculously low.
Yeah, Broadhead was like 4, I think.
And they almost took the Sunderland blueprint, if you like, Cardiff. They almost took that and tried to apply it again. Conversation, Zurich says, don't be a downer, but as we're speaking of the crowd, we should address the elephant in the room, half-time boos. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't hear any boos, but everyone in the chat is saying there were boos. Your reaction tells me you didn't hear any boos either.
No, why would you boot one down? Come on. I don't get that. I don't. And this they were booing over
day trippers.
I don't know. I don't get that.
Yeah, what was the day trippers back, Matt?
I really, yeah. Did you see the little under 9s going round at half time?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
One of my son's mates was in that crew.
Oh, nice. You definitely had those on the TV, apparently. So that would, the camera must be your side, right?
Yeah,
so that must have been from the Magnus stand. It must have been. I genuinely didn't hear any boo, or if I did, I'm so used to boos at half-time at Bournemouth Road, my brain didn't even clock it. It was like,
I don't get why. Well, that's ludicrous to me, but it sounds like a real minority. But I didn't hear anything like that. I didn't hear anything from either end of the stadium. So
no, I genuinely didn't. You mentioned Broadhead there. Dan Finn on Twitter says Broadhead game changer, and he really is. And I was having a conversation with someone. You said he didn't do a lot. Nathan Broadhead is my favourite Town player, probably for a long time. I will cheer like a cheerleader when his name's read out, because I absolutely love the guy. I called him the needle mover in January, and I still believe that.
We were both excited by him, weren't we? More so than Hurst, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. But he's the type of player that, on the face of it, does absolutely nothing 90% of the game, but the 10% he gives you are the 10% of special moments and memories. So yesterday he did nothing, as you said, but then suddenly, like a man possessed, like a Welsh international playing against the a Welsh side, bang, 1 goal. And then he's in the game and everything's going through him and it's exciting. That's Nathan Broadhead. He gives you the memories and the magic, which is why you pay the money for.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, that is illustrated by Sunderland on the opening day, where he's in the right place at the right time for a leave shot. It's him and goes in, and then he puts the through ball through to Hurst. I mean, when you actually boil it down, footballers don't actually have the ball. They're in possession of the ball.
No, they
not
don't.
Very long. So it just goes to show you what kind of impact he has when he does have that ball over such a minimal time of possession individually. Just fantastic. A snip at 1.5. We were discussing Friday, weren't we? You play over the odds for players in January. No, you don't. No. Because I think that's an absolute steal, Broadhead at 1.5.
Oh, it truly is, yeah.
Sims went for 8 mil.
Yeah.
From the same club to Coventry.
when I say does little, he's not the sort of player that's going to hair around the pitch trying to press and make last-ditch tackles and the things that perhaps stand out without the touches of the ball. But the touches of the ball when he has them are always magical moments. Like the ball through to Hirsch, where Hirsch probably should score in the first half. He should have scored.
Do you think he was injured when he had that shot?
Maybe so. I'm putting it down to that. So I'm just, but it's still.
Yeah, I was up.
That's a broadhead. That is a broadhead through ball we've seen time and time again after January last year, where it's just a special ball where it almost dies after it's travelled 30 yards. Like it just sort of dies dead. I don't know how he does it, because he did it at Peterborough for Chaplin, where seemingly spins the ball in and it just dies dead perfectly. It's like, wow.
Measure of a great player. I mean, it appears to be quiet as a mouse off the pitch. As we said, the choir boy. But on there, my God, maestro. So good. I mean, he's someone they might have to you know, keep the shackles on a little bit come January, because, you know, if we're noticing these performances in certainly Premier League are going to be noticed them.
Oh,
kind of play Everton need now, actually.
He's a wizard. He is a wizard. Blaisdell says, credit to Haladki. Yes, that's what Frank says. Love Nathan Broadhead, kind of player that Everton need just now.
Frank, we're on the same wavelength, my friends. Absolutely.
Frank, I feel sorry for you. Blaisdell, credit to Haladki. Can't be easy stepping in, especially when he had a bad game last week.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? This is what I wanted to address. I thought he was fantastic yesterday. I mean, I was gutted for him when he made that superb save from the header, and then Grant scores on the rebound, and then I'm thinking it's 1-0, and of course it was given offside, wasn't it? If any save did not deserve to be scored on the rebound, it was that one. Tremendous. And then the save in the second half from Grant was through, and it was the double save, wasn't it? And then I think Ugbo, the sub, had a header, and he scoops it away. Can we stop having a go like Haladki? Oh, Walton needs to come back. Haladki's not good enough. This guy is playing great. And, you know, last week, no one would be more disappointed last week than Haladki for that goal that Pirro scored. As much as we was disappointed, he would have been triple the disappointment, and he would have had to gone into work and watch it back and say why he made that error, etc., etc. So, you know, we said last week, mine goalkeeping errors magnified 100 times, didn't they? Because they invariably lead to a goal.
Always.
And he's not a robot, and he's come in. You know, they said Sunderland hadn't played a league game for what was it, 18 months, whatever it might have been. I think he's doing great, and you know, if he's just keeping the seat warm for Walton, then so be it. But I think he's doing brilliant, and he was great yesterday.
He was awesome yesterday. Some fantastic saves, some clutch saves, really. And I disagree in a sense, because last week against Leeds, 1 or 2 were basic errors. For me, having, you know, never played professional football in my life, I will qualify it.
You'd expect a professional keeper to maybe handle a little bit better, but I would say he'll have had Rennie Gilmartin in his ear all week about that.
Well, it looked like it, because this week, when he did spill it, it was out of danger. It was spilt to the area that you'd expect the spillage to go. You know, instead of being pushed back into the middle, it was constantly. Because in the second half, the double save, where he pushes it away, pushes it out.
Yeah, from Ugbo's header, really good.
That to me says we've sat down, reviewed the Leeds tape, reviewed what we need to do, and then for the last 5 days, all we've kind of done is drills on spillage. You know, your placements of your spillages. It really is.
We said last week, if you don't win, you then try and learn from it. And it feels like he's learned from it. I saw Walton yesterday because I was chatting to someone, so I went the back way out, which I very rarely do, and up to the station that way. And Walton was getting into his car. He's a big fellow compared to me.
Matt, to be fair, most people are pretty big compared to you, but I wouldn't let that bother you at all, mate. By the time you've hit 50. But no, I just think it's a huge testament to the coaching team and the player for adapting and learning and growing, but the coaching team for also how well they've taught the player through 5 days. Because as Harp says, it's noticeable that Haladki has worked on parrying the ball away from the goal since Leeds. It really was yesterday for me.
In a week, shows what a good keeper is. Look, we knew he was a good keeper when he came. You know, but it's fantastic to see that over 7 days. Yeah.
It is. Not to talk about transfer window before. I've got 3 people waiting. I'll try and get all 3 of you in. If you can come back tonight at 8 p.m. on a Sunday, then please volunteer yourself to do so. But I will try and get you in if you remain on the bottom of my screen. But Lazapo, we all talked about transfer window on Friday night. Some of us have made rash opinions. Some of us made bad opinions. Some of us need to maybe have a polo and calm down before they go live. But Freddie Ladapo was a player that many fans throughout the course of the last 3 months, it feels like, wanted perhaps to find alternative arrangements of a football club. and wanted to upgrade the position. And he responded yesterday by a fantastic performance, 2 goals, fingers in ears. Who did it better, ladies and gentlemen? Luke Chambers or Freddie Dapo? Let me know in the comments. How did you see the big man's performance?
Yeah, terrific. I mean, he didn't have to work too hard for the goals, but as I said on the little short video I did, he was Johnny on the spot. And that is basically how Gary Lineker and Jimmy Greaves made a career. They did very little outside the penalty box, but when it mattered, when the ball was loose or the keeper spills it, etc., they were there for the goals. And Ladapo was exactly the same. I don't think he knew too much about the third, didn't it? Spoons up and hits him in the face and goes in, but still, again,
he knew everything. Give the man credit. Give the man his credit. Come on, give him his flowers.
I was so pleased for him. Fantastic. And we did say he's a bit of a slow starter. We saw that in League One last season. Everyone started writing him off then, didn't they? And then he goes on and gets, 16, 17 league goals. And then he comes off the bench. Yeah, and then he comes off the bench yesterday. And there he is with 2. I thought it was a bit funny that he got man of the match. It was a typical sponsors man of the match, wasn't it? We've had a few beers. Let's give it to the geezers. Just come off the bench and score 2.
Goals win points, points win prizes. Yeah, and we don't know what sort of prizes we'll get this year, but that's why. And you're always going to get that. The goal scorers are always going to win man of the match, more so than not. But Don Haynes on Twitter, keep Freddie Ladapo. I think a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment there. Blue Fly on Twitter, blood, sweat, and Ladapo. I like that one. But it was a big moment for also Kieran McKenna, because last week Caden Jackson gets the nod, but plays for me really well.
He did play well, yeah.
Hurst goes down. You've got that sort of few minutes where you have to think about it.
Who'd you bring on?
Many people would not have raised an eyelid had he brought on Caden Jackson, but instead he brought Freddie on. And this is a manager that is rewriting the brain pathways of Ipswich Town fans, because he gets it right in the big moments more than he gets it wrong. And we ain't used to it.
No, you're totally right. Who did you think was going to come on at that point?
Caden Jackson.
Caden. See, now it's interesting, isn't it? Now, because we're looking back at the game, I actually automatically thought Caden as well. But now, as we review back on the game, the fact that Cardiff played so deep probably wouldn't have given him much space around in the channels, because we're going to get the ball into the channels, particularly, could we? So it made sense to bring the Ladapo on and be that old up man and try and bring other players into it. So yeah, it was a great call. Of course, I wanted Dane on, didn't I? I mean, he would have been Johnny on the spot for them goals as well. But it was great for Freddie to get off the mark like that. Brilliant. So pleased for him. And again, it's a conundrum, isn't it? Is Hurst always going to be the first name on the team sheet?
Yes.
Or maybe can Freddie push him? Look, Freddie was here first, right? But look, he's had to go back in the pecking order. And then we've got Dane there as well. So now, interestingly, as you know, I had to get away from the ground quickly last night because we was at a double birthday celebration for our family. One of our family members is a professional player for a Premier League team, albeit in there just below the first team. And he said to me, "Oh, you've signed Amari and Dane." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Phenomenal." He's been in the same team as them. He's the same age. He said, "Phenomenal players." He said, "If you get them 2 cooking and Dane gets into the first team," he said, "you've got a real two really hot prospects there." So that was music to my ears.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, there's a special place in my house, in a special room with a shelf. And on that shelf is shockingly bad opinions. On it is the Raheem Harper Player of the Year opinion.
Yeah.
And I've got a special place for the Amari Hutchinson opinion that I had, because I've saved it, because I've got a feeling that's going to be wrong, Matt.
Yeah. He did very well. Look, listen, he had a better game yesterday when he come on as he did against Leeds. He was a little bit at fault, I think, for Shackleton breaking away. He didn't really track back, and that then put Sinistera through and put Williams under pressure. But yeah. Our little cousin was saying he's a great character, great to have around the place, explosive player, and like he said, those he couldn't believe we'd got both at the same club, and that's the pull of McKenna, I think.
It really is, and I wasn't joking about the McKenna situation either. Like, as Town fans, we've had a lot of rubbish. I'm not going to swear, or try not to swear at 2:10. A lot of rubbish over the last 15 years, where transfer windows have been disappointing. We have told players, perhaps in April, we won't re-sign you, to then only re-sign them towards the back end of a window. We have had a lot of false dawns, a lot of false promises. Managers that have arrived with big bravado and left with small whimpers. So we're used to these hurts, these wounds. And Kieran McKenna is slowly re-educating us, if you like, to be a football fan of a football club that is functional, working, gets it right more than it gets it wrong, and just is everything you expected the last 15 years to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I did feel like we would get that from Paul Cook, but for whatever reason, it just didn't pan out, did it? He didn't get the assistant he wanted, and it didn't happen. But, you know, everything for a reason. That didn't work out, and now it's worked out for Ipswich as a club, because Kieran's come in and got us promoted. And here we are sitting second, albeit early days in the season, September. Here we are sitting in second in the Championship. But, yeah, I totally agree with you. We're not. I mean, look, full houses, people are buzzing, kids with names on shirts. I noticed that when I was at that Greyhound pub the other week, and now there's kids with names on shirts. There's adults with like Hurst on the back of their shirts. No one was doing that with, I don't know, bloody. I said, what did I say the other week? Rory Fallon.
Yeah, or Luke Varney. Or
you've now got players you can get behind, and you know they're favourites to young and old alike, and that shows you're building something and you're heading somewhere. And we've not, like you rightly say, the false dawns. So many false dawns that this fan base didn't really deserve. But now it's coming to fruition, and it's, you know, it's great to see. So not only, you know, and we've got two hot prospects in our, you know, coming through from two Premier League clubs, you know, sitting on our bench currently. It's brilliant. And to move on from that, mine, Tways and me, looks like he couldn't agree a deal with Luton over a contract, because we were wondering, why would you go to Luton in pre-season there and not get a deal? It sounds like it was his end. And, you know, the guys I've been chatting to who support United think he's really good. You just got to try and keep him fit. And it sounds like he's not quite fully recovered. Hence the trial is what I gathered yesterday out of all of that.
Well, yeah, I'm just, we'll wait and see what happens on that. He's on trial. We'll wait to see. I think a left side centre half, or even a centre half in general, is probably needed. And talk about needed, I want to put a request out to Planet Blue. Planet Blue, can you please sort me out with a Paul McKenna poster? So I need to change this background. I need to get myself a Paul McKenna, Kieran McKenna background.
Combine the two.
I'll combine the two again. It's a mind meld. I'm so excited about Kieran. I'm going to start calling him Paul.
That's the hypnotist guy, isn't it?
It is. I've got his book. That's why it's on my desk right up here. I'm looking at him right now. I'm thinking Paul McKenna, How to Lose Weight. I'm thinking Kieran McKenna, get me a poster. But get me a poster, Planet Blue. Sort me out, please, because this needs to change. It's a new era. It's a new
Kieran McKenna, Hypnotise You. How to Get Promoted. The new book coming soon.
Kieran McKenna, How to Not Overreact to a Transfer Window. Stephen Parry.
Hello, Stephen. Hello.
How are you doing? No, at the end of the day, I would say, I said something in the chat earlier on. It's not, we all go on about first 11s, but it's not a first 11. It's a squad. We got promoted using a squad. Yeah. We can argue, we can disagree, we can say the squad's not strong enough. Till McKenna comes out and says to me, yeah, I didn't get players that I wanted, which he hasn't and probably won't do. Yeah. We all know these deals have been weeks in the making, even Dan Scarlett. Yeah. So these are all players we chased for one reason or another. And we only got them for one reason or another, because they either, you know, we could say the Tuanzebe one was probably the only one that we didn't chase because he was at Luton, and when that deal fell down, we went in for him. Mm-hmm. But the rest of them, they were all chased. So everybody says, well, we had a list, but we don't know who was on that list. People speculating who was on that list. We have no idea. We have no idea who was top of that list. Williams might have been top of that list for all we know. You know, we just don't know. And I think we have to treat it with, you know, the same as we do with everything else. A little bit of skepticism and say, look, until the manager says he's not happy, for all we know, the manager's perfectly content. He's got everything that he wants, you know. And I don't understand how people can say that the manager's not going to be supported or not being supported, because McKenna has had everything he wanted. Right now, all I've seen, he's got whatever he asked for, he wanted. New pitches, training ground, new pitch on the main pitch. It's been done. So I find it very unlikely if he asked for a specific player, yeah, we weren't going for that player. There was a reason we didn't get him. Now, you can argue the fact, you know, someone was, you know, I noticed something the other day. There's 9 clubs that have raked in more than £10 million in sales. That's already 9 clubs who have got £10 million more than us for FFP. Those, you know, Coventry had £35 million more than us. We're not outbidding these clubs. I'm sorry, we're just not. You know, if we bid in 3, they'll bid 5. We're out. Simple as that.
Dickinson's rule deal.
Yeah, it is. It's just true.
Great show.
Does that mean they're getting? Does that mean they're getting? Yeah, a £5 million player? It just means they're going to pay more than us. You know,
Yeah.
I can buy a tin of HP beans. I don't really like HP beans.
You're posh, Steve. Tesco value here, mate.
Heinz. You don't do Heinz.
I only eat Heinz, but I wanted to take Heinz out because they're dearer than everything else.
When did you win the lottery, Mr. Parry?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I can't eat anything else. But no, I used HP because they're dearer than Lidl. Yeah. But what I'm saying is I'd eat Lidl before HP. Yeah. But they're cheaper. You don't necessarily need to pay the most amount of money. You know, I agree. Mark Ashton said some stuff. I don't know how, I can't remember exactly the words he used. Was it we're buying first teamers, or was it we're buying players who will get into the first team? If it's the latter, I can name 3 off the top of my head who could probably get into the first team before Christmas. You know, so well, Williams for 1, Taylor for 2, and Hutchinson could easily, if he improves as he has done, he could easily get ahead of Burns.
Yeah. Good shout, yeah. Good shout.
Yesterday's performance, absolutely, yeah. He did
and then if Tuanzebe signs, then that'll be 4.
But do you agree that Axel Tuanzebe can't have been Plan A, being a free agent for so long, and then?
Yeah, I do agree with that. But I'm not saying that we didn't go for players and we didn't get players, but I don't think it's the lack of trying that stopped us from getting those players.
I agree, yeah.
You know, McKenna would understand and accept if we went and said, well, we've gone for this player, and they probably all agreed, we'll pay no more than 3 million for him, and we offer 3 million. Like we said, some of the deals were virtually done, and then suddenly things changed. Like, as far as we know, Trusty was virtually done, and then all of a sudden Sheffield United come and blow us out of the water. Things, that's not Mark Ashton's fault. That's a club in the Premier League saying we've got more money.
Yeah, I've got some 3-word reviews. I want you to give me a sentence to each one. Then I want your thoughts before I let you go on yesterday's performance. We've got Sam Williams on Twitter, solid transfer window, and Jordan Hall on Facebook. Hutchinson, needle mover. A sentence to both of those, please, Mr. Bray. What would you say back to those two posters?
I don't think it was the best transfer window. I think January's was better. I think it was a solid C. If we signed Tuanzebe, I'd go to a B. But it didn't do us any harm. And before the transfer window really started getting to the end, we were mainly talking about improving the bench. We weren't really talking about improving the first team. Yeah, everybody was saying, well, the bench options are not good enough for the Championship. Well, yesterday proved the bench options are good enough. If it continues like that, I'll hold my hands up. That might just be a one-off. But they came on, every single one of them, Ladapo, Hutchison, Taylor, Williams, and all helped the team get the result. And if that continues like that, then realistically what we've done is what we expected to do. You know, no, Harness wasn't on the bench. Edmondson wasn't on the bench. Baggott wasn't on the bench. You know, read into that as you will. But the top and bottom of it is we improved the bench. And that's what most of us were calling for back in late July. We weren't calling for let's rip the team apart. Just give us some extra depth on the bench to come on to change the game. And McKenna says that a lot. He'd rather have different tools in the box, not several versions of the same weapon. Because if one weapon's not working, then what's the point? And Freddie's a different type of player to Jackson and Hurst. So they all come on and do different things. Yeah. And I just want to mention about Clark. I think everyone's been a bit harsh on it because when Leaf goes forward, Clark has to move into the centre to become a back 3. Yeah. Because if you remember right, I think it was in the second half, he was going hell for leather to the left-hand side, which isn't his position because Leaf was out of position. It was a transition from a corner. Yeah. And Burgess wasn't getting back into the position. They broke away and he took out that guy on the left-hand side and got a yellow for it. Now, he was last man because it was a corner and they broke the transition. So he can do it. I do think Williams will probably come in for him while if he's got any outstanding issues while he sorts them out. But there's no way on earth I'd ever write him off because he's still a very good defender. He's got a lot to offer. He's got a big future. And if we can't sign Williams on a permanent, which I still think is a possibility, but we'll probably have to wait and see. Even if we do, he's the sort of player I think you could create into a centre-back. And I think he's probably more comfortable there because he's not very good on one-on-ones. So I think he probably could be better as a centre-back.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Perry, appreciate you coming on. Look
Always,
after yourself. Great comments as always. And
I
Ernie says...
I want beans on toast now for lunch.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not a big fan of beans on toast.
No.
Nah,
No,
boring.
that's it.
Boring. Food's supposed to be a culinary experience, not an absolute, like, you know, doing some sort of tough mudder event.
I think, yeah, I would probably go. Well, maybe Sainsbury's or Heinz. I think
No, the beans don't matter, Matt. It's just a boring meal, mate. It's just the beans don't matter.
Sometimes you need it. Ernie Young, you don't know what that yet. The window work will be determined later on. I was thinking this, you know, because I've just called it a B, right? Because I really rate Amari and Dane. But I was thinking, you know, when we play Norwich on December, was most likely going to be December the 17th, and the Sunday. And like, you know, Dane comes on and scores. And then, I don't know, Brandon Williams blocks one on the line, or everyone, those pivotal plays that came in the window, everyone would be like, you know, it would just be
that's Harry
celebration
hindsight.
time. Yeah.
That's Harry hindsight. You can only
but,
react on the opinion, the information
this is
you've
what I
got at the
agree with
time.
Ernie here. You know, you got to give them time. There's no point just looking at a list of players and going, well, they're not played these X, Y, Z haven't played any games yet, therefore they weren't a good window.
Disagree with that. Like, you know, what do you think McKenna and co based their opinions on? Stats, footage, know-how about the football game. Like, you don't just look at a player and say, well, yeah, I'm not going to look at his stats at all or any information present.
Oh, they would have done, yeah, 100%.
But so as a fan, all you can do at the time, at any given time, be it today about Ladapo yesterday, be it last week about Haladki's performance, be it Friday about the window, all you can do is react on the information you've got at the time to form an opinion. You know,
I do agree with that, but obviously it goes deeper than that, as we said Friday, because you know Hurst did nothing in the Championship with Rotherham, yet they've still put you know, they've gone all in on him as being our lead striker, and thankfully he scored that first goal of the season
he did.
At Sunderland. But I do agree with what Ernie's saying here. I think it will be borne out as we move forward. Absolutely.
But you can only, you've got to give, you know, like, particularly when what we do here, Matt.
I think as
fans,
fans,
give an opinion.
Yes, yeah. I as fans, this is what
it'd be a very short show if you tuned in and we said, right, this is the transfer window show. They've signed some players. We can't react until 6 months later, so we'll see you in 6 months. It'd be a very short show, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We don't do beige, we do opinions.
Yeah,
this is what we do.
We do. I mean, look, McKenna said yesterday, didn't he? Well, he's going to say this, isn't he? Very happy with the players he's brought in. Thinks they improve the squad. We don't know exactly what kind of plans he's got moving forward between now and January as to how that might be supplemented. But if we've got Kieran McKenna, he knows exactly what we need. You got to go with the line, haven't you?
It's only a song, though, isn't it? Like, you know, if I some of the songs I sing,
I didn't, you know, I had my little wobble. I didn't think he was going to do it, but he's done it. You know, he's shown to be. Well, actually, very good point. Actually, that middle third of the season in League One, he did change up in that final third, and now you're seeing that in game now, aren't you? In terms of the Championship, like you said, Ladapo, he's brought these players in. How will they now adapt to the system and the obvious camaraderie and team spirit that's, you know, of Burley-esque at the moment, I think, when he was in the Premier League.
Well, we said about opinions and never being beige. This guy, Arthur, I'm going to read this out. This is a good one. Hang on. Arthur, he's finally received the bank transfer. He's finally received the bank transfer as Arthur. Brilliant. We've been waiting all year for this, Arthur. Come on, son. I sent that money ages ago. This Gov is quite brilliant broadcast anchor.
Well,
normally I'm called something else that rhymes with anchor.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take it.
Normally on our WhatsApp. Well, it's good to see people are catching up to what we've been saying, isn't it? You know what I mean? Of course. He's not called the Podfather for nothing, everybody.
I don't call myself that, by the way.
We call him that. They
call him it. As I say, this platform is about opinions. You can't be beige, and a man that's got more opinions than. No, I'm going to leave it there. Actually, it's going to get a bit rude to him. Mike, hello, mate.
My opinions are legendary. Some right, some wrong.
Oh, they are legendary. Yes, I had some guy walk past me yesterday, and he said, "I thought that like he was League Two goalkeeper." Tell that fisherman.
Look, I got to give Halaki some credit. He had a bit of a mare against Leeds. I ain't gonna lie, but look, you know, maybe I don't know, looking back, maybe it was a bit too harsh. But look, he's had two games this season where he's been man of the match. You know, yesterday I think against Stoke, I think he was, you know, he was good. You know, so look, he's all we got at the moment. I was talking to guys, sort of had a message with Crunchy yesterday about it, and I was saying, you know what? I think the problem is, of like most of us, we've kind of lived with such dross over the years.
Yeah.
When something seems too good to be true, it often is sometimes. You know what I mean? Like in this situation, you know, we're flying high in the Championship. We got promoted from League One, something I've wanted for freaking since we went down there. We got owners that come in. There was some rumours floating around, which kind of made you feel a little bit meh. And the other thing about, I've been thinking a bit more harder about this transfer window. Look, maybe there was players they couldn't get or couldn't afford, because let's be honest, we've put a lot of infrastructure in on the ground, training ground. I mean, from what I know, the training ground was stuck in the 2000, you know, from the promotion year. You know, with technology and stuff like that, we're now, you know, everything's a lot more up to date, a lot more forward, you know, and, you know, so there's a lot of money been spent there. So we can't keep buying players. I think it was the fact that we didn't look, we seem to have a lot of firepower, but we seem to have, we're starting to leak a few goals is a little bit worrying. Obviously, a couple of faults last week with Lakey, but then obviously some good play from Leeds as well. Yesterday, you know, Clark, brilliant going forward, not so great defensively. Donasian, defensively, very good, pretty poor going forward. If we could have a Clarksian or something like that, that would be great.
Collaboration of them too.
Do you know what I mean? If you could mix the two together and have one player, that would be that. I think you'd be the perfect right back for us. But look, yeah, you know, 2-0 down, I was like, Jesus Christ, you know. It was making this transfer window, which I gave it a D+, down to a D-.
Positivity, Mike.
Yeah, you're right. That's how I felt. I was like, fucking hell. But
that's like 3 out of 10, really, in reality.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, well, but look, I stand by my scores. I didn't think he had a very good game at all.
It's entertaining, Mike, regardless.
But yesterday, it was a good, solid 9 out of 10. I mean, that save. I know the lad scored and he was offside, but that save alone is 8 out of 10 on any day, you know. And then it was just, yeah. Yesterday, every time he did pull off a save or he needed to get the ball out, it was the pushing the ball away from danger rather than like he did against Leeds, and that was fumble it into a dangerous area. Yeah, and like I said, he's obviously looked at Leeds and whatever, and you know, and look, the lad's learning. Even now, every footballer learns and stuff like that. But the pleasing thing for me was yesterday I was watching some of the games of old and that, like I've done over the last week. I was watching a few while I was fishing, and when you see Burley teams, the old Burley teams, and the way they just never give up. Yeah, they just never give up. That's exactly how I felt yesterday. We went 2-1 up. You know, 2-1. We were 2-2 down, 2-0 down, 2-1 Broadhead. You know, beautiful strike, and then Ladapo, bang, 2-2. And I said to Martin, Desmond 2-2. I sent you a WhatsApp, didn't I? I said, you did. Desmond 2-2. And I thought, oh, maybe I got the prediction right. I'd have been happy with 2-2. But to go and win that, oh yeah, look, it was a lucky bounce. Look, I'll take it all day long. But to go 12 points from 15, I think the only person that thought we'd probably get that would be Colin.
No, I did.
Yeah, because you did.
Well, I actually said 13 because I thought we'd draw against Leeds, but
did you really?
Yeah.
Look,
yeah,
I thought we got 9 out of 15. I'd have been happy because that's
I'd
our
agree
first
with you,
back
Mike,
time,
yeah.
you know. But we got 12 points. We are what, second?
Well, can I ask you, Mike? Because we've got a 3-word review, and I'll ask both of you. So listen up, Matt. Moby on Twitter, 12 points flatters. What do we think of those 3-word reviews from Moby? And thank you, Moby, for putting them in. It's a good talking point. 12 points flatters. Does it?
Not really. Not when you come from 2-0 down against established championship side like Cardiff. I don't think it flatters at all. I think it shows our effort.
Yeah, no, I agree with Mike. I suppose people are looking at some of these results, Mike, and thinking we've been a little bit lucky here and there. But how lucky was that Cardiff goal yesterday, the second one? The pinball wizard. So
I mean, no
you take it when you
disrespect,
get
but
it.
that ball could have gone anywhere.
Yeah,
Could it? It could have gone anywhere.
yeah.
It went
Yeah.
in.
So for me, look, sometimes you create your own luck, and sometimes you create your own bad luck.
Yeah.
Very
And that's
true.
just how it is in football, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get a penalty decision awarded for a foul in the area, and the next week the same foul won't get awarded.
Yeah.
Sometimes luck goes for you, sometimes it goes against you. And I think,
roll with
Very
it,
true.
innit?
look,
Got to roll
I take,
with it.
look, if we scored every goal like our third goal yesterday, and we do get promoted,
Yeah.
it's not one fan that's going to sit there and say, "Well, flat as deceived." Look, at the end of the day is we are as much as I've been critical, and I'm always being told trust the process. I'm saying on here I'm going to start trusting the process because I think my mindset is still a little bit stuck in the old days of the Evans era. So you know, let's who's that? Premier League keeper makes the die. Oh yeah. But yeah, no, for me, I think I'm just going to be a little bit more positive about it all. I'm still not overly happy about the transfer window. I do think
That lasted long.
Solid. No, a solid. No, listen, it's just an opinion. A solid centre half to somebody come in. But as I said last week, if we can bring in a 19-year-old striker and a 19-year-old winger, then a 20-year-old defender and a nearly 20-year-old central midfielder, there's no reason why they can't come in and make up the squad.
Absolutely.
You know, it gives us access to, who knows? I mean, look, Luongo, he's looking a bit, I don't know, he's just looking a bit tired. Does some great things. But so you said, I was listening earlier about Broadhead. I watched him a lot recently. Well, obviously, just what focuses. It's not what he does with the ball; it's what he does off the ball, and he draws players out, opening space in that midfield area, especially at front line. He pulls defenders across, and obviously Harry Clark cutting in to make a three. But that's what your holding midfield's supposed to do. Holding midfield's supposed to. If your wingers or your left and right back are getting forward, your holding mid's supposed to help out in that back to make a back three.
Yeah.
So
one last thing, Mike.
That's probably the only thing I would say. Clark was obviously maybe he's been told to do that or thought he should do that, whereas either Morsey or Luongo should have stepped back into that defensive role to allows our attacking fullbacks.
Perfect, Mike. Anything else before you want to go? Is there anything else you want to add, or are you done? Have you remain positive?
I'm happy to admit I may be wrong about Alaki.
You are.
Ladapo. Hey, ready, Freddie Ladapo.
Yes, I saw your 3-word review. I wasn't quite sure if you were trying to have a spelling mistake or not. But we look after yourself, Mike. We appreciate you coming.
Guys, take care.
We've made it through an hour and 2 minutes without me talking about Jack Taylor. So tonight,
I was going to say, we can't finish without the Jack Taylor.
Oh, I'm going to have the Jack Taylor show tonight, Matthew. Believe me, I have got it all stored for this evening because I am going all in again on my bandwagon of Jack Taylor.
Well, let me say
what's
to you,
he going to do?
When he came on, my new pal Mick said to me, "I love how he makes them runs into the box." I thought you sound like somebody. I said you sound like someone else. I don't.
You allowed energy in midfield. Who knew?
Yeah. Well, listen, you might start if they can't get Morsey fit over the next month or so, because who knows how bad that injury is.
Ruin it,
hopefully
man.
not. Might see some more of it. And Lee Evans had a cameo too.
I know, and I left. No, it wasn't because he came on. That's not the reason why I left. I left because I decided, right, there's 3 minutes left of the game. If they score, I don't want to be here to see it.
No.
And if Town score again, I'll hear it from outside and I'll watch it on the highlights. But I thought I'd get set up.
So your last word's gonna be a little bit of a Jack Taylor special, is it?
Oh, I just don't see how we can go through the team ratings tonight. Get to Massimo, get to Sam, and not like Massimo has been a fantastic player for the football club to date. But I just feel like we're ready for the Jack Taylor show now. I'm ready to see what this young whippersnapper from Peterborough, who's signed for $1.5 million, who Darren McAnthony said would be a top player.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
And Darren Curry, Town Ledge, he said the same.
Darren Curry, of course.
Oh, it's great, isn't this? I said to you yesterday, didn't I? Isn't this exciting? Miles better than playing Bleeding Morecambe and Forest Green. Look, everyone's buzzing.
Yeah. I don't miss them at all. I don't miss them one bloody bit.
you know, we said it earlier. This is what we wanted. People excited. Even Mike, the fisherman, is excited with what's going on. It's great to see Long May it continue. The bloody international break, though. I hate these bloody breaks.
I love them. I love them. I love them.
I mean, it's quite good. I suppose it's come at a good time with Morsey and Hurst question marks on their injuries. But, you know, we want the momentum. But who knows? We might have Axel over the line by the time we're back in league action again.
Maybe. I do worry, though, the longer that Jack Taylor doesn't start and we are doing well, that, you know, sort of, if he comes in for Wednesday, for example, and we get beat, like, fans are very quick to say, like Harry Clark, for example, 4 months ago, flavour of the month. Yes, from yesterday onwards, it's less fist pumps, more insert whatever you've said on social media. And, you know, I don't want the scene to be set for Jack to be the one that's like, oh, he lost because Jack came or whatever. I thoroughly enjoy watching Jack Taylor play.
Perhaps it is a good time to have a break. As me and Rich were discussing last night, he said, you know, it's hair raising, this football, isn't it? And we've said it previously. How can we keep, like the Stoke game? Can we keep that level of intensity up, you know, for 46 games? So maybe it's good just to sort of step back a little bit and maybe assess and think about how you do break through a team with, you know, that are defending deep with the midfield just in front of them. Because we're going to see it again once someone else rocks up to Portman Road, maybe a Blackburn or somebody. That's the next home game, isn't it?
That is the next home game. Yeah, it is. First game up after the break is Wednesday. Then you've got Blackburn. But yeah, so there we go.
Southampton in the middle. Southampton away trip in the middle.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how
they got done 5-0 yesterday. What the hell?
Yeah.
At Sunderland.
Sunderland, who have had a terrible window. Terrible window.
Well, they've still got to play Southampton, haven't they? In terms of they've got a lot of money in that. But weird. That was a weird one. That I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
And this is the championship.
Norwich got done at Rotherham, but they thought that was 3 points.
But that sums up the championship. That type of performance. You got it rarely in League One, like Forest Green beat each other Wednesday, for example, or whoever beat us many times. But in this division, it's almost any given Saturday league. It really is.
I totally agree with that. And look, what did McKenna say last season? They just took one game at a time, and I always had kind of question marks over that, considering the caliber of opposition, you know, compared to where they were in the league table, etc. I actually do think in a championship now, it's so unpredictable. It is one game at a time. And I think as fans, we've got to kind of recognise that and think, you know, we might have one bad week. The following week, you know, we'll be back to form again. I think you're going to see that a lot.
Which is probably why a team like Blackburn last year did so well with so many draws. Because if you just avoid defeat, more times than not, you're going to be sort of picking up points when others are dropping points and keep yourself there or thereabouts. And it just what I found really surprising is just how night and day it is from the last time I remember us being in the championship, particularly under Mick. Like where it was always, it seemed defensive, well, us particularly, but defensive heavy. Whereas nowadays it seems nobody wants to give a damn about defending. We'll just take pot shots at each other all for 90
minutes. With McCarthy, I always felt like he was trying not to lose the game, and I always thought that was a very difficult mindset, to trying to win the game. You know, it was his points a prisoner kind of vibe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But look, that's a few years back now, and here we are. We're up with a fresh manager wanting to. Well, they did say we're going to attack the championship. That's what Ashton did say. That at least they are doing that, right?
Yeah. But it's just my brain can't compute how different, but how different it is at the same level. Yeah. Like that wasn't even football. This is football. That
yeah.
What that was, I don't even know anymore. Like
it's evolved. While we've been away, it's evolved absolutely.
And the quality as well. Like it's arguably one of the most competitive, if not the competitive league in the division. Because even though you've got money teams like Southampton, they can rock up and get smashed 5-0. Everyone's got good players. Everybody's got good players. QPR the week before, supposed to be in disarray. FFP, blah blah blah. Got some quality players. You know, Share from the halfway line, Armstrong. Everyone's got quality players, and it's like, who's winning this week? Like, there's coupon busters galore. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. I still haven't been able to turn a fiver into 30 quid yet.
No, I've noticed. But you could turn a fiver into support Talking Town. Scan the QR code. I'm a fifth stander. We're back live tonight at 8 p.m. He's the media mogul, the man from Del Monte. I'm the Gov. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all tonight at 8 p.m. Up a 10. You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. Hopeless lover. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get
from just